I want to hit you with a little truth. Why is your project not done yet? Why is it not started? Why is it sitting in a fence row rusting? Why is your project not a reality? Got 5 reasons. Why is it so damn expensive? Number 1 reason, I just don't have the money. Dude, I cannot afford that. Why does everything cost so much? I can't afford it. Who has unlimited money? If you do, you're probably not watching my content. If you are, send me a message and I would be happy to relieve you from some of that. I'll make you very proud. Money is one huge reason, one huge excuse you're going to hear. And it's very legitimate for many people. Problem is, you've got certain guys, and remember, if money is your main concern, some of these excuses will intertwine with one another. One feeds the other. Because if you have plenty of one of these, more than likely, it's enough to overcome the other. So money's the one that you're going to hear a lot of. Parts are expensive. Cars are expensive. Having someone else do the work is expensive. All these things are expensive. We all know that. Now, if you're one that's bought the car and realized later it's more expensive than you can afford, it might be time to get rid of the car. Even though mentally you know it kills you inside to think someone else is going to have that. It's better to let it go. If money is your reason, and it's a legitimate reason, sell it. You can learn. You might not always be able to come up with the most money, so make sure you understand your budget. This is how much I can truly spend, and this is what it's going to cost. Put it together in your head. Put it together on paper. Truly understand it. And then double it. There are still some cheaper muscle cars out there that make great little projects. And they can be cool. Sometimes the cool is in the freakiness of it. Build a freaky little car. Get your hands dirty and enjoy yourself. Two. And I'd love to build one, but I just ain't got time. No way. There's no time to do that. How do you come up with the time for that? I don't have time for it. Why does shit take so long? Who has unlimited time? Man, unlike money, if you have unlimited time, you can't send me some. And if you do, again, you're probably not watching my content. How do you make time? How do you budget your time? I understand you've got a family, and most of us do. My kids are older. I don't have the commitments I once had, so I'm starting to get more time in the afternoons. I'm starting to get more time through the week that I didn't have before. And it does make a difference. It's legitimate to say that I come home, you have football practice, you have volleyball practice, you have what other school, blah, 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 every day it seems like. And when you got 3 kids, one's parents this way, one parent's that way, it is an absolute nightmare to try and keep up with, let alone start a major project. Dude, I get it. How invested? How do you make that time? Is it truly a lack of? Because, to be honest with you, there's tons of projects that I could do, even though all these things were going on, but instead, I'll let that be my excuse. Is it viable? Yes. Is it end all? Nope. Time. It's going to take twice as long. And if you sit down and watch YouTube videos instead of working on your project, like I do a lot of times in that chair, you're not going to get your project done. It's going to sit there and wait. Every excuse that we have is just that. It's an excuse. And again, they're viable. Every one of them are. How many hours does it take? Again, if you have plenty of money, time's not an issue. Hire somebody to do it all, right? That's kind of against the point of a project car. The project car is for you to build. If you're going to have somebody else do all the work, then why are we even talking? You're probably not one of my viewers. But time's a big excuse. There's tons of things that everybody can do, myself included. Trust me, I am in no way innocent on any of this. Three. Where the hell am I going to do this? Where am I going to get these tools? How can I afford these tools? Well, I could do all that work, but I just don't have any place to do it. Can't work on it at this apartment. My wife won't pull her car out of the garage. This is an excuse you hear a lot of times from somebody who probably doesn't know how to do some stuff and they don't want to admit it. But hey, if I had a place, I'd do that too. That's most of the time what you're going to hear. It's not the fact that they can do all the work, and because trust me, a garage, you could restore a lot of stuff in a 2-car garage or a 1-car garage. If you truly wanted to build something, you could do it in a 1-car garage. Now, you might not build the show car, you might not build the perfect hot rod, but a decent budget weekend warrior, hey, absolutely. A nice cruiser, man, no problem. 1-car garage, you're fine. Sometimes you'll be outside, wheeling it in and out, but and some people live in apartments. I mean, which that makes that a legitimate excuse. It makes me think, boy, there really should be some more of these garages around that there used to be, where people worked on their own stuff and rented a small space in a larger area. Maybe it's something that would work. Would anybody be interested in that? No. And another thing, in a place to build it is the tools to build it. So I'll include that with that one. I don't have the place or the tools to build it. A basic tool set, a couple $100. That's basic. I mean, just some wrenches and sockets and maybe a hammer or two, some stuff like that. And then every week, another $40 or $50 here and there. Not a week. Maybe once a month you put back a few bucks, you buy another tool. Eventually you get a collection. If you own a home, you own a garage, and you don't own tools, well, you're not watching this video. I know better than that. That's people like that don't happen, right? Nobody does that. Nobody owns a house and doesn't buy tools. I know lots of them, but they're not watching this video. So now, lots of people have a project car that is their daily. That's what they do every day. I'm not talking about those guys. I am not talking about the car you're driving daily, but I have to give credit to those guys. I see a number of people who have tons of modifications done to their car, some of them in varying degrees of good and bad, but they're doing it. They're figuring out a way to make it work. They live in an apartment, they have no shop anywhere, but they figure out a way to make it work. Sometimes they're on the damn parking lot, sometimes they go somewhere, I don't know where some people go, but they make it work. And I think a lot of us could. A lot of the guys that are looking at this, and you can start considering a project car, you probably already own a home. More than likely, you have a garage. Maybe it's only 1 car. Maybe you just have a backyard, you don't have a garage. Man, there are ways. Knowledge. Are you willing to learn? Because the truth is, lack of knowledge is not an excuse to not do. It's only a reason not to do yet. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and buy a 70 Superbird and tear it apart the first car you ever decide to tear into. You may want to start a little lower. But if you've got Superbird money, you can afford to have somebody else fix your mistakes. Are you scared? Why? What's to be scared of? One of the hardest things for anyone to do, give an honest opinion when asked. And another hard thing is take an honest opinion when it's given to you. Open your mind up. Some people are just assholes about it. I get it. But if you ask for an opinion and you get it, you need to listen. Simple as that. You don't know how to do it, so you can't. This is probably the biggest bullshit excuse I'll ever hear in my life. Because you don't know how to do something, you can't. Or you don't. Sometimes talent, and it makes it look easy from the start. But most of the time, we all started with zero knowledge and probably about as much talent. You learn by doing, you learn by experimenting, you learn by listening to other people. So if your excuse for not building a car or not building a project is knowledge, bullshit excuse you could have given me. What you really have is reason number 5. The last one, and probably the most common, is you're afraid to do it. You're afraid to take the leap. You're afraid to buy that car. You're afraid to get in over your head because you don't understand how to do certain things. You're afraid what somebody else might think. You're afraid blah, 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 just tons of things. You might be the guy who dreams about this car. This might be everything you ever wanted. But the fear, well, if I buy this, how do I afford it? If I buy this, where can I keep it? If I buy this, how can I find the time? If I buy this, how do I figure out how to do all this stuff? Fear drives all four of the other options. Fear is probably the biggest. It's a very powerful emotion, and most of the time it's just that, it's emotion. I'm fucking scared. Have you ever just been fucking scared to do it? It's scary. I can't help it. I'm scared to start. I'm scared to fail. And I'd be a nervous wreck driving that car. Put all that money into it, and I can't. Whew, yeah, I'd be scared to death to even drive it. I don't even want to start. They're afraid. They're quite simply afraid what someone else is going to say or think about what they've done. Somebody's going to critique their work. And this is a point for me that's, this one kind of could go either way for me. I've done some crap work. I know I have. And I wasn't proud of it. It was embarrassing to me. I didn't want other people to see it. I won't put my name on it. And I try and fix that. And I try and get better every time I do a project. But you have to start somewhere, and it's okay to make those mistakes. So you can't constantly be put down or scared that someone is going to judge you over something ridiculously simple. Afraid. Afraid's a big deal. And I'm no different than you guys, so when you look at your next project, don't be scared that the guy across the road is going to make fun of it, or maybe he just doesn't understand it. Maybe he does know better. Use it. Use that fear. Listen to what people are saying and take it as criticism. Try and make even the worst, nastiest comment constructive. Try to look at it and say, why did he say that? Why is this a bad idea? Are they right? And sometimes you're going to say, screw them, I'm doing it my way, and it works out. And sometimes you're going to say, screw them, I'm doing it my way. Shit, I should have listened. Either way, most of the time, all you lose is your time. And having said all this, it absolutely takes money to build a project. It absolutely takes time. It absolutely takes knowledge. It absolutely need a place to do it. And you absolutely have to have the courage to start. Why isn't my project finished? I don't have the money, time, place. My shop's not big enough. I don't know how to do everything, so I'm having to learn as I go. And I'm on YouTube, so I'm afraid every time I screw up, the whole world could tell me how stupid I am.